Hi there, my name is Maria. I'm a senior software engineer and welcome to my channel. Today is actually exactly 2 months since I got laid off from my full-time job as a senior software engineer. And as you know, if you are not new to this channel, I made a very conscious choice to pause, to really think where I'm going, to figure out what's going on with an industry, and I am not in any rush to get back into the corporate world. And instead, I want to actually pursue my projects of passion, and I want to find inspiration. I want to find innovation in me. And this channel is basically a space that I created for, first of all, for myself, and where I can just think out loud, and a space where everybody is welcome. I am definitely grateful for every single comment. I read them all and I try to respond to them all. So let's go. Let's talk about things. So there's two things I want to talk about today. First is what's going on with the engineering job market. And second, what am I actually doing these days? It's been again 2 months since my layoff and I have all this freedom and I have all these projects. So what the heck I am actually doing with my time? So let's start with the first one. What the hell is going on with the job market for engineering, tech in general? What's happening? And recently, a friend of mine reached out to me because her daughter works in tech as a junior software engineer, a very smart girl. And she asked me, why is it so hard to get a job these days? What is actually going on? Because everywhere I'm hearing two things. I'm hearing economy, something's wrong with economy, and AI is taking over our jobs. So these two themes I'm keep hearing, but let's look at the first one. Let's look at the economy. I am in the US, and at least in the US, economy is actually going really well. Bullish market. The stock market is up. Companies are doing well. A lot of them. So I can't say that this is really an economy problem. I mean, maybe we are going into recession and these talking heads are always talking about recession is coming. But yeah, recession is coming at some point because it's going in wave. It is cyclical. But nobody knows when recession will come. And I really don't think that economy is to blame for the sluggish employee market. And by the way, I have been in tech for over 10 years. And if you have been in tech for that long, you probably noticed that tech employment market is going also in waves. What I mean is you probably noticed that at some point it is so easy to get a job because employers, everybody wants you. The recruiters are chasing you and they're offering you the world and you are picking and choosing. And then there are some other times where like now, crickets, you send your resumes. Not that I'm sending them, but you're sending a ton of resumes and there's nothing. Everybody is super picky. Nobody wants you. Nobody wants anybody. So what's going on? So anyway, you probably noticed that these trends are happening, that they keep repeating. And right now we are in one of those dips, I think, or so it seems like. So is it economy? And I don't think it's economy because economy is pretty strong. Or is it AI taking over our jobs? And here again, I just don't think so. I don't think AI is to blame for taking over. Maybe in like a couple of years, maybe 5, 10 years, maybe it will become so good that it can just replace all of us and will, as engineers, will be obsolete, but it is not here yet. It is just not the reality yet. And here is another interesting thing about AI. It depends on the job. So if I'm to simplify, there are two situations where people who know how to code, or engineers or web developers, there are two situations when we are needed. One is somebody, just an individual or a small company. They get an idea about the app and they need someone to create the working prototype. They have an idea, they want to test it, they want to show it to potential investors, or they just want to see if it's something that might work. And in the past, a person like this, they had no choice but to actually find a web developer and hire somebody who can create this prototype. Well, right now, this is not the case because right now with vibe coding, with these tools like, what are those tools? Jeez. But basically, you have tools where You don't need a professional web developer. You can just, if you're pretty good with prompting, you can actually get pretty far creating a working prototype of your app. You can test your ideas, you can test the waters. So this is probably where AI is replacing some web developers, some engineers, because yeah, people can get away with not having a web developer or engineer. But there is another case where same old software companies, old ones and new ones, and this is where I don't think AI is replacing engineers. If you have a professional software company, there is not much vibe coding going on, or at least I hope there is not, where engineers are using AI. Or they should be using AI, I would argue. They should be working with AI as a tool to help them to become faster, to become more efficient. I mean, but it's not replacing anybody. Maybe they don't need as many junior developers, but I don't think that product manager or any manager would say,
you know what, I'm just gonna not hire an engineer and I'm gonna use AI to code. That's
still a lot of work, and I don't think managers want to do that. Then you might ask, Maria, what's going on? Why is there such sluggish market? And I see several things. I definitely have no intentions to get political here. But if you had a chance to visit any headquarters or campuses for bigger companies such as Google or Meta, or like any of these large software companies, which I have, you would notice right away. First thing when you walk in, you see that there are almost no American engineers in this sense. There is a lot of Asian talent. There's a lot of Indian talent. There's pretty much a lot of, if I say foreigners, I'll be slayed. One thing you will really notice that these companies, they hire a lot of talent from overseas. So they either bring the talent here to the US with the working visas, they sponsor them, or they just outsource it. And I'm talking about large software companies. Now let's look at small entrepreneurs or just small businesses. For example, if I have a business and just, me, I create the Maria Creative Studio LLC. And if I need help, for example, editing or maintaining the website or maintaining the app, I don't think I can hire somebody here with these prices, especially, or maybe I can. But I also have an option hiring someone from overseas for fraction of the money, for fraction of the cost. And very often the quality of work is just as good, if not better. They also over deliver. They deliver a great product. The only problem sometimes is communication. Sometimes the cultural differences, language barrier, that makes it harder to work together efficiently. But if you can overcome this and if you can work together, then this is pretty much a win-win. As a small business owner, I get a great product for fraction of the cost, and they get paid a fair price for their country. So I suspect, I'm not sure if this is really the case, if this is what's happening now, but the world is becoming, especially after COVID, the world is becoming so connected. It's easier than ever to work with someone on another side of the continent or overseas. It's just, the world is so connected. It's so easy. So I suspect that this might be a reason, because for a lot of companies, it's just easier to outsource. It's just easier to work with somebody who is cheaper, who over delivers and stuff like that. One story comes to mind, actually. There was a scandal, I think like half a year ago, and I apologize, I don't remember which company exactly, but there was this big reveal that there was this AI company, like a big AI company, and turned out that it was not really AI. It was a company that was making user interfaces using AI, something like that. But in the end, it turns out that it was just a giant building full of people, real people in India, and they were actually doing all this work instead of AI. So the company was claiming that they created this supreme AI product and they just really succeeded with that, when in fact they didn't. They just used real people. And it was because labor in India, talent in India is so much cheaper, they could do that. They just had a building full of people who were doing the actual work. This is a sad reality, right? So again, I don't think it's economy. I don't think it's AI. And maybe if you have an opinion, please share. I would be very interested to know. Let's talk about item number two. What am I actually working on right now? So in my previous videos, I already described my process a little bit, my transformation, mainly when I got laid off. Right after, I wanted to jump right in. I wanted to find another job. I was a little bit panicky, but then when I took a break, I realized, no, I don't really want to. I still have time. Financially, able to take a sabbatical because of some financial systems that I set up for myself. That doesn't mean that I am financially independent. I don't have that fire going on, but I am able to have a pretty comfortable little break where I can take the time, figure things out, and not rush too much. The pressures of money are still there, but it's not paycheck to paycheck situation. Why am I so nervous when I talk about? So what projects I'm working on? So since I got laid off, I realized that there are several projects that I can explore. And now I'm realizing that there's actually too many and I have to choose. Which is interesting because if you're currently employed at a full-time job, you think that if I only didn't have a full-time job, I would have all this time to pursue all these projects. So this is what I thought. And in fact, once you find yourself in a situation where you don't work full time anymore, you kind of realize that all those projects, they take up a lot of time and you actually have to choose. You can't pursue all of them. There's just not enough hours in a day. And at some point, quite recently, I was trying to pursue them all. And I realized I'm just gonna get burnt out all over again. So yeah, I realized pretty quickly that I have to choose. I'm gonna leave the projects that meet these two criteria. So it's something that really interests me, something that I really don't mind spending time on, and something that is potentially can be monetized. Well, it's hard to talk about it because I am actually not really sure. So long story short, I am working on a project right now. I am building an app but it's not any app. Interestingly, it's not the app that I wanted to build for the last 5 years. The idea of this app came to me while doing something that really interests me. So, for example, about 3 months ago, I got really into essential oils, about healing naturally, because essential oils really helped me with some health issues that I had. They helped me to get over the burnout, the stress. So I'm kind of a believer now. And obviously, we all have different interests, and I got very much into it. And right now, the essential oils team that I am part of, they're doing a detox. And very quickly, I recognized the need for a good app to go together with the detox. Basically, an app to help people track their detox journey. And I realized you guys are probably not the audience who does detoxes or is even interested in essential oils. Why am I talking about it? We all have different interests. And this is important because this is where we naturally have energy. And we don't mind spending a couple of more hours or many, many hours there because it's just fun. It doesn't feel like work. So for me, this is the hobby, this is the interest of mine. And I saw a very clear need to create an app that might help, first of all, me, and that will help a lot of other people. So this is the app that I'm working on right now. This stuff is interesting to me. Right now, the world of essential oils, the world of natural detox, it gives me energy. This is just something that is fun and interesting to me. All things aside, it's just a great experience. It's a great experience pushing yourself as a web developer. It's a great thing to have on your GitHub, even if this goes nowhere, which I think it might go. But even if it goes nowhere, I will still have it as part of my portfolio. On GitHub, I can talk about it to a potential employer. I can use the newest tech. So I actually see a lot of positives even there alone. And because, again, this subject is so interesting to me, it doesn't feel like work. It's actually fun to spend time working on an app like this. Maybe if it was a finance app or some mm, some other some other app in a different industry, maybe I wouldn't care. But this one, again, it just doesn't feel like work at all. Not that it's easy, because I'll tell you, things are taking much longer than I thought. Initially, I thought it's going to be like this because I have Cursor, I have all these powerful LLMs. But even with all this powerful AI, it's still taking forever. So anyway, so that's another reason. And the third reason why I'm doing this is, of course, I think that this app might actually go somewhere. I think this app has a very real way of bringing me some income. Probably not millions of dollars, but I don't see why not. And there's again the group of people that I belong to. We're interested in essential oils. We're doing the detox. And all these people now are potential customers. And even if they're not gonna become hardcore customers, this is my free testing group. I can just get my app tested in the beta phase and see how it is. If they will be using it during this detox, so maybe for the next one, I can sell the app. Or there are different other opportunities to use it. Or maybe I will offer this app for free as a big perk to sell other products. What I'm trying to say is there are a lot of different opportunities that if we are not used to looking for them, if we are used to working for a company and we're not being used to being a part of the product development efforts, or we're just not used to looking for opportunities like this, but opportunities are everywhere. And there can be money made in a lot of different places. And sometimes we just miss these because we're just not looking. So again, this is what I'm up to. And I know I talked a lot. And of course, as always, I appreciate this beautiful audience that I have. And this is certainly a very happy space for me that we created on YouTube with this channel. I hope you guys take care, and I will see you in the comments.